Hi guys, I can't believe the day is finally here where I get to say that I have launched my own podcast. Even saying that out loud feels very unreal. Thank you so much for being here to see my very first episode. It means a lot to me. Now to the business of the day without wasting your time. My guest today is someone who has built something from nothing right here in Newcastle. He started podcasting nearly 6 years ago with a friend, a microphone, no camera and no roadmap. 5 years later, he's recorded at least 300 episodes, published about 170 of those, has a studio, has a sponsor, and a creative brand called Init Studios. I like saying that. He didn't wait until he was ready. He didn't wait until he was perfect or it was perfect. He just started and then he kept going. He's a Nigerian who lived in Ireland but chose to plant his flag in Newcastle. He has been quietly building one of the most consistent podcast operations in the Northeast. He's also one of the most genuinely humble creators that I've known since I came to the UK, because he's the kind of person who would invite somebody that is bigger than him onto his show and then ask them to tell him everything that he's doing wrong, live on air. That takes something. Please welcome Daps. Hi, Daps. Welcome to Stacking Dreams.
Thank you very much for having me.
I'm so glad to have you here because I've been looking forward to having this conversation with you, and it's really nice to have you here. You're my first podcaster, so it's a big deal for me because I've learned a lot of things from you trying to start my own podcast here in the Northeast as well. So it's really good to have you here.
Thank you.
Your podcast is called Chilling with Dabs, and you have that on YouTube, and I follow you on Instagram and YouTube as well. So I just go on there to see what's next, what's new, what can I learn, what can I pick, because you are doing this in a space where, not in a space, but in a city where there are not many podcasters.
True.
So you've built something basically out of nothing, right?
So
I guess my first question would be...
just a guy, really. Viv. Can I call you Viv?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, so just a guy, very passionate about a lot of things. I think life has led me to doing so many different things. We're doing podcasting now, but before podcasting, it was a lot of music. And before music, it was working in finance. And before finance, it was a career in aviation. Well, on my way to having a career in aviation. So many different things. So many different things define the person that I am now.
Wow. Aviation, I didn't see that one coming.
Yeah.
And one thing I've noticed is I can't really tell who you are from your podcast, like, because obviously it's about a different thing, but you are open at the same time. You're not really out there with regards to what else is happening outside of that content creation space.
Yes.
So could you tell me a little bit about who you are outside of content creation?
That's the thing. Like, I try and keep it very, very quiet. Like, on purpose. Like, I really like, people are starting to say to me, you should do more content, like more of cover a lot of the things that you do outside of the podcast studio, all these events that you go to, events that you're hosting, events that etc. But I think I really enjoy a private life. That's why it's hard for people to be able to read me and what I'm doing or what I'm about. But I think overall I'm just a pretty chill guy, like, just keep my head down. I only do the things that I enjoy doing. So if I don't enjoy doing it, you won't see me doing it. But I guess for those who are wondering, I'm a pretty chill guy. I spend most of my time at home, reflecting a lot, like thinking and contemplating what I'm going to do next.
I'm playing the piano.
Playing the piano, chilling.
Like the first day I saw you playing the piano, I couldn't believe it. I was like, this guy knows how to do everything. What can he not do?
You'd be
I
surprised.
was like, I was quite surprised.
There's a lot I can't do.
Wow.
But I think playing the piano. For those that I always say I can't swim. That's one thing I can't do.
Okay.
But one day hopefully I'll learn how to swim, but I can't.
You're not alone. I can't swim too.
You can't swim either.
I went swimming and then the chlorine started making me dark, and I just don't like looking not nice.
I need to learn how to swim in this lifetime.
Because it saves lives.
Yeah.
And I've seen situations where if the person could swim,
they would have probably stayed alive.
Been with us now. So yes, that's a good one to actually aspire to do.
Right.
Yes. So since you are not able to really speak about your private life, I hope you'll be able to answer this one.
Sure.
what do people who know you personally say about you? Maybe then we can have an understanding of who you really are.
I'll start with my parents because they're like a good sort of like, I don't want to say metric for judgment, but I'll just call it metric for judgment because they've known me all my life. And if I was to speak to my dad, he'd probably say, he won't call me Daps, he'll say Dapo. So Dapo is a very passionate and hardworking guy. I think my mom would say he's a big dreamer, you know, which is on brand for your podcast. I think my brother might say I work too hard and I don't rest enough. I think my sister might say I'm annoying because that's our only girl. You know, it's a family of 5, 3 siblings. Sorry, I've got 2 siblings, three of us, me and my brother, my sister. And my sister is, we love her so much, but she's very, she's almost sharp-tongued in a way. You know, she's Gen Z. And Gen Zs are always right. You can't tell them wrong.
Yes, you can't.
So my sister, no matter what I do in this life, my sister will be my first critic. So if everyone could be saying Daps is amazing, Debbie would say Daps is annoying. You know. So I guess I'm everything. I'm all of these things at the end of the day.
Yeah, really. You really have. You're grounded at home, so you have that 360-degree view.
For sure.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
Choked on my spit.
Sorry, bless you.
Yeah, thank you. So it's really good to have people who can tell you straight how they think about, although parents can be biased because they love you.
They love you.
Yeah, but I think your sister is a good one. I like the fact that she keeps it straight with you.
Yeah.
That's what siblings are.
That's what matters at the end of the day.
Yeah, so you've done 170 episodes. That is crazy. Yeah. Like on Chilling with Dabs, you've kept on being consistent with this.
Yeah.
But prior to starting that, you came from somewhere.
Yep.
So Nigeria to Ireland to Newcastle. Yep. That's a journey. Walk me through it. What made you decide to plant your flag in Newcastle?
Yeah, so the story for Newcastle started in 2018. My brother moved here in 2018. He got a job. He's a really cool guy, my brother. You know, I talk about him a lot. Even though he's younger than me, I draw a lot of inspiration from him. So he's a video game developer. So he got a job here in Newcastle developing games. Yeah.
He must be rich.
He's a very humble guy as well. So he came in 2018. And so in December of 2018, I was contemplating moving to Newcastle. So in 2019, I made the move to come here. So before I came here, I had a year-long sabbatical from work. I used to work in the finance industry.
Wow.
So that year-long sabbatical was what led me to wanting to start my own business, my own companies, because when I worked in finance, I saw how money moved in the world. And I saw that at the end of the day, having your own enterprise probably is the best thing to do because you get to work for yourself. Many of us don't really like being told what to do.
No.
Not because we're arrogant, but just because we like to have autonomy, you know? True. So in 2018, I learned a lot about wanting to start my own enterprises. I did start a business in Ireland, but it didn't really work out in 2018. So when I kind of like finished all my money and I only had only had a little bit left, I moved to Newcastle with what was left. And when I got here, I was still a musician. So I've been for quite some time now. Professionally, yeah.
Wow. I just thought it was some gift you had but never explored.
People don't know this, but I'll give you an exclusive. I make more money in music than I make in probably any other thing I do creatively.
Wow.
Yep.
They lie.
Yep. Till this day, I have one particular client that pays me a specific amount of money each month. They've never failed paying me that for the last 3, maybe 4 years consistently. If that money didn't come into my bank account, I probably won't be able to do a lot of the things I do.
Wow.
And it's from music. So, but people think that a lot of it comes from the podcast or from what it's actually music because I've been playing since I was 13. I'm 34 now. So I've been playing for over 20 years, playing piano. So you get to a point where you might be playing a function gig, a wedding, an event. Like today, I've just been recording at a recording studio. I get paid for that. So music actually pays me a lot more than a lot of the things that I actually do in presenting and media. Obviously, I'm trying to change that now. I'm trying to make my bread and butter media and podcasting and stuff. But anyway, so when I came in 2019, I was still playing a lot of music, but I had this passion for podcasting. But that passion came from listening. So I've been listening to so many podcasts over the years. And I just used to think, Viv, it's that thing of, when you're talking to your friend and you have a great conversation and then your friend leaves.
Yes.
And you think, damn, I should have
recorded that. That happened to me a lot.
I think this is how you know if you're supposed to be a podcaster. If that happens to you, if that doesn't happen to you, don't worry about it. Forget about it. You understand what I'm trying to say?
Yes,
I used to happen
yes.
to like I'd have some amazing conversations, and it's not even something I said all the time. Sometimes it's something they said, and maybe my reaction to it. And I think, why didn't we have cameras and a mic? You understand? So eventually, I was like, yeah, let me start something. I don't know how it's gonna go. I don't know if it'll be amazing, but if we start it, if we record it, chances are people will eventually find it and they'll enjoy it. And that's what led to this, really.
Wow, that's amazing for real. Like, I find it fascinating how you actually did come through to this town and just start doing it, even when there was no one. Because content creation, what I think many people who have been successful in it would tell you, it's one unifying factor amongst all of them. That's
Yeah.
consistency.
Yeah.
And I find it intriguing for people to be able to be consistent within an area where nothing like that has started. So you don't see physical encouragements to
Yeah.
continue. And being who you are, being an African in the UK, being able to give them that platform, and most of your listeners are not really resonating with that. I don't know how you go about, fixing that with regards to when they listen to you, right? Are you going to say, what are you going to say to bring them to listen?
Yeah.
That's really what scares me when I think about it for myself.
Yeah.
It's like, what do I want to say? I don't have the accent. I'm not really British per se. How can I connect with these people? So
Yeah.
were you thinking in terms of Geordies, or were you thinking in terms of, I don't care where they are. I just have something important to say. I don't care who is listening.
Okay, so I'm going to answer this question in two parts. I realize that there's a part of the last question that I didn't finish answering, so I'm going to finish answering that properly. So when I came in 2019, I guess the main reason why I chose Newcastle was because my brother was already here, and it just felt like it was also one of the more affordable towns or cities, cities to live in the UK, because looking at London and Manchester back then, it was just a bit too expensive. So realistically for me, I thought I want to go somewhere that's affordable, somewhere that's quiet, somewhere where everything is close to each other. So that's why I really stayed. That's why I stayed for the long term. But it was always like, when I first came out, I always wanted to go to London a lot. I wanted to go to Manchester a lot. I thought I was going to leave within the first year or two, but I've stayed for 7 years.
Wow.
So I guess that's mainly why I stayed. And there was also another thing that really made me stay is I realized that this is a fertile ground. Let's be real, there's not a lot happening here in terms of like media. There's not a lot of people that look like you and I in media. There's no representation really. So I was already thinking, if there's no representation, maybe I apply for a job in media. So I did. I applied for jobs. I was looking at jobs at BBC and ITV, and they didn't hire me because I didn't have enough experience at the time. So I thought, right, if no one is going to hire me, I'm just going to do it myself. I'm going to create my own platforms. I'm going to start a podcast. And that's really what led me to starting. And when I started talking to all my guests, I realized that they were in need of a platform as well.
Wow.
They were all in need for someone to give them a voice, because you have to think about it. When you're looking at it from a musical standpoint, the more commercial artists are going on the bigger shows. They're going on BBC, they're going on ITV, they're doing documentaries on Netflix. How about the grassroots?
Yes.
How about the upcoming people, where they're going to go? So I realized that I could be that intermediary. I could bridge that gap in the Northeast as a black man, as a black owned business. So I entered into that space. In terms of your following question about how do I appeal to a certain audience, I wasn't thinking Geordie or Geordies to start off with. I was just thinking me, because what I've learned from listening to a lot of podcasts is the best podcasters do shows that they want to listen to. It's all about how they feel, right? For me, it's going to be different to you. And I'll explain this in a sense, because you have to stay authentic to yourself. I'm Nigerian, but I've naturalized as an Irishman. So I grew up in Ireland. I moved to Ireland when I was 13 years old from Nigeria.
Wow.
So grew up in Ireland all my life, went to uni in America, worked in America for a bit. So life is taking me all over the place. My personality is if you could use this word, a conglomerate of a lot of things, right? So it's like my life is a lot of things: Nigerian, Irish, I've been in America for some time, and then now in the UK. So I look at it as this way: whatever I have to say, it doesn't have to be one thing. It doesn't have to be Nigerian. It doesn't have to be British. It doesn't have to be Irish. It just has to be me. And then the people that like my vibe will come to me naturally, my tribe. So how that relates to you could be being Nigerian, embrace it fully, because the perspective you have as a Nigerian creator who lives in the UK is unique. There aren't many Nigerian creators who live in the UK that are on TV or that are on the internet. when I say there aren't many, I mean that there's probably less than a couple of thousands.
Wow.
So it's not saturated enough. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So you can bring your unique self. Your experiences are very important. Is what I'm trying to say. So I don't think about my audience to that extent. I just get on there. I know who I am. I know what I've been through. I know what I want to achieve with my show, and I just do it. And honestly, when I sometimes look at the people that listen to the show, I'm blown away because it's everyone. It's everyone and anyone. Some people listen to the show, I can't believe they do.
Yes, your comment section on Instagram, I find it interesting that different kinds of people, like
Different kinds of people.
Dabs, I'm like,
Yeah.
what do you know he's talking about? Like they can relate for real.
Everyone
Passionately
can.
so.
And that will be the same for you when this show goes off as well, you know, because the thing is you're just you, and it could be someone in Australia that just relates to you. So it doesn't matter really, does it? As long as you're being you.
Exactly, as long as you're being you. And
Yeah.
I've learned that you might think that you're the only person who sees and understands certain things or feels a certain way, but when you like speak up, you then start to see that there are people just like you who are just trying.
There could be someone in China that goes, Viv, where have you been all my life?
Yes.
You know? So that's what we're creating for. We're not necessarily creating for family and friends that have to like what we do. As long as we're authentic, we wake up in the morning and we go, right, I want to talk to my guest today. I know what I want to get out of this conversation. God help me, let's go. And I'm telling you right now, it will start off with like 100 people listening, then 1,000, then a couple. That's just how it goes. You just have to be you. That's all that matters.
Thank you for that. Like, and you're already giving me nuggets because I was hoping that that's what I was going to get. And I'm already getting it. I'm so excited, Daps. So happy.
That's amazing.
So, moving on to my next question.
Sure.
4 years, 170 episodes. That's still, I will never get over it. Because really, 1, 2, 3, like 170 times doing this, setting up and sitting with people. When you look back at each episode, what do you think?
I think that there's a lot of room for improvement. I think that I'm very grateful and I feel very fortunate to still be able to do this. I still also look and think I want more people to do it as well. I feel like sometimes I haven't done my job enough if I haven't seen enough more people like you know, doing it. Because if you've done a good enough job, it'll make more people want to do it.
Yes.
You know, so there is that. But I'm very thankful that I get a chance to get up and do it, you know. I think some of the lessons that I've taken is when things go bad, just remember why you started. So there's been days when like I'm trying to do a recording and everything goes wrong. The lighting goes wrong, audio goes wrong, cameras are acting up. They weren't acting up before I thought about doing it. It's as soon as the person walks in, that's when nothing wants to work. So on days like that, I just think to myself, just remember why you started. You're so passionate. At the end of the day, if the mics were in there and the cameras were in there, you still have a great conversation, wouldn't you? So don't let that disturb you or distract you, you know. So yeah, 170 episodes. And the reality is we've done more. It's just a lot of them are archived. So I think the number is probably closer to like 300.
Jesus is Lord.
Yeah, I think it's probably just over 300 because there's about another 120 odd plus, I think, that I just archived from like the very first, I think the first recording was February 2020.
Speaking of that, like I was going to ask you, what did that first, like when you look back at it now, like tell me what you didn't get right about that first episode. So, I think you touched on it a bit, but that specific episode. It's
a very good question. I'll tell you that I only got the dreaming part right. That's the only thing I got right. Everything else
went wrong.
So let me tell you something, Viv. You're not going to believe this. The first episode, I didn't have a camera.
What were you going with?
So my guest borrowed me his camera. He borrowed me a Panasonic GH5. When he handed me the camera, I said, what am I supposed to do with this? I don't know how to operate it. I said, how are we going to work this? He said, don't worry, just put you on the stand and we'll press record. He was my guest on my first episode, was telling me. I was so passionate, I didn't even think about how we were going to record.
Are you serious?
I'm telling
you.
You
got everything else together besides the camera?
So I had, similar to yourself, I had a room in my flat where I could record from. It's not that I didn't know what, I had an understanding of what I was looking for, but I wasn't even thinking about tech just yet. I was just thinking I would record on my phone, similar to how some people record. And he said to me, no, I've got a proper camera that we can use. We can use a Panasonic GH5. I knew from looking online that that camera was really good at that time. So I was like, okay, yeah, we can use it, but how do you use one? So anyway, we set it up and we recorded that first one. And when we finished recording, he said, so when is the episode out? I said, I don't know how to edit. I said I have to go and learn how to edit. I opened my laptop, I saw iMovie, and I don't know if you ever use
I
iMovie.
know
iMovie is ridiculous. It almost is pointless as an app. So it was that day I learned about DaVinci Resolve. I spent another week learning how to, maybe not a week, a couple of days learning how to edit a video, and then I edited my first episode. So for those that are watching, just realize that on my first episode, I didn't even know how to edit a video yet. I went ahead and did an episode.
Yes.
I didn't have a camera yet. I went ahead and did it. So if you're talking about what could have gone wrong, pretty much almost everything, you know, if you walk into a podcasting studio today and your presenter tells you, I can't do any of these things, you'd probably walk out.
Yes.
Whereas I faced it head on, knowing that I'd learn on the job.
And perhaps you had a very good relationship with your guest as well.
Yeah, well, he was my friend. I mean, we met in music as well, and he was a great guy, and we just were having fun. We didn't care. And obviously, the thing that I've always said is, for me, I learned very quickly. So after that first episode, that mistake never happened again. I immediately started using my phone. I used my phone for a while, then I bought some like HD cameras that were like very cheap, but at least now I'm not using my phones, so it looked more professional, and we just kept building.
Wow.
But we never made the same mistake twice. We tried not to. Anytime I make a mistake twice, it really hurts me because it feels like I didn't learn the first time. So I very rarely make the same mistakes twice.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. I can't believe, like, you're the first person I've ever heard of that started a podcast without
I didn't have a
camera. So, be really honest. There must have been a point in those early episodes where you thought about quitting.
Yes.
Or where it felt completely pointless.
Yep.
What kept you going?
I think for me, I'll say this and people will laugh. I just love talking. And I don't mean like physically talking. I mean I enjoy conversations. And I think I was interested in telling everyone stories. And I think that just kept me going, you know, like I always think this region isn't nearly as developed as it needs to be. Like we need to still keep working. Like when I'm not here anymore, when I finally stop doing this for whatever reason, what are people going to say about the work that I did? Did it matter? Did it play a role? Do you know what I mean? Why should you stop? There's so much to do. You know, and that just keeps me going.
Amazing. Was there a specific episode or moment where something clicked and you thought, okay, this is actually going somewhere?
Honestly and truly, I think for me, because of the way my mind works, it's almost as if every new episode I do makes me feel that way. There were certain episodes where I had like maybe say a bigger guest on than I'd ever had. Because the way it's worked over the past 6 years is I'll get to a point, I'll get a big guest on. It might be even a local big guest. And I'll think, wow, I had that guest on. I had an amazing conversation. Wow, right?
Yes.
And so it feels like this is going somewhere. But then like 5-6 months down the line, I'll get a bigger guest on. And it's the same feeling. And it just keeps going and going. And I think that's how it goes until you're in the millions. When you're starting to get 1 million downloads, you know, you'll just keep interviewing people that feel like, wow, but it just keeps going. You know, I think rather than an episode or a guest, I think it's more milestones. Like I remember when the channel was even me on Instagram before 1,000 subscribers. Sorry, 1,000 followers. That first 1,000 felt like 1 million to me. But 2,000 felt like nothing. 3,000 felt like nothing. You know, my first 1,000 subscribers on YouTube 3 years ago, I was just praying. Oh, I can't wait to get to 1,000. The day we crossed 1,000, I didn't even know because it was 1,004. And then I was like, oh yeah, we passed 1,000. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So it's like milestones kind of mean a bit more.
Yes.
But they don't mean anything either. I think looking back, if people can say, I've been inspired by listening to you, I've been inspired by your guest that you had on, I've been inspired by your story and your tenacity, that's all that matters to me.
I've been inspired by your guest that you had on. I've been inspired by your story and tenacity.
Amazing. Well, that's great. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
That means I'm doing something right.
Yes, you are, for sure. So, what does showing up look like on the days that you really don't want to?
Yeah, smiling, you know, having a poker face, you know, I'm a man of faith, praying, you know, I pray a lot. Like, you know, I'll always just like get up in the morning and just start by being thankful, just gratitude, you know, just natural. God, I can't believe that I get to get in my car and drive to the studio that you've blessed me with, to go use the equipment that you've blessed me with the money to buy, to sit down in front of someone that I really want to talk to, even though I still work a 9 to 5 like most people, and my dream is to do, you know, my podcast and run my business full time. I'm still grateful that you blessed me with the health to be able to work on a Saturday where most people might not have the opportunity to. So even on the days where it's not amazing, I think having a heart of gratitude just sets the day up right. You can't go wrong if you're thankful, you know.
Amazing.
You can't go
Yeah,
wrong.
it's true. It's true. Sometimes it's really difficult to actually be thankful.
Yeah.
But I admire people who are able to have that willpower
Yeah.
to be in control
Yeah.
of their emotions
Always.
and how they feel. In fact, you might be those kinds of people, you might be around them and you don't know something is going wrong for them, and they're actually feeding you positive energy in your own negative state.
Yep.
And I find it really fascinating when one can do that for real.
Especially in this industry, because Viv, the thing is, how we feel, people can see it. You know, so I'm not trying to say that you should hide how you feel, and if you're sad, don't be sad. I'm just trying to say that, like, we have every reason to be thankful. We live in a good country. You know, I'm not going to say great country.
Yeah, I
There's a lot going on. No, I don't think any country is great in the world anymore, but we live in a good enough country. There's security. You know, we have roof over our heads, we have food, water, clean water, and we get to be able to delve into our creative practices. I know certain people in certain countries can't wake up one day and say, I want to be a podcaster, because they want to eat first.
God, exactly.
If you want to eat, or if hunger is really the driving factor, who will set off light? Where do you find the strength? You understand what I'm trying to say? But that's not our problem. So isn't God so good? So, man, I don't really have bad days. I'm just chilling. I'm just like, man, let's go and talk. What's the worst that can happen?
Yes, it's true for real. We really need to be thankful in every situation, because some people always have its worst self. So I really get that. So I guess my next question would be, you had heavy spoilers.
Yes.
And Daps, I had another level of respect for you after watching that episode. Like, you actually let him critique your channel live on air. And that is such a bold move.
Of course.
My God. Walk me through that decision.
So, first of all, it wasn't planned.
Really?
At all. He didn't know I was going to do it. He had no idea what was going to happen. I think for me...
Yes, I think I could tell he didn't know you.
He had no idea.
It was very organic.
Yeah, he didn't know. Nobody knew what I was going to do. Let me just quickly give you a backstory to how the episode happened, and then I'll answer the question on what made me ask him to critique my channel. So Paul Twiddle from Heavy Spoilers is quite possibly one of the biggest content creators in the Northeast. You know, he's a local lad. He grew up here, went to college and university in the Northeast in Newcastle. And 3 people came on my podcast over, I think, a year before he came on and told me about him. I didn't even know who he was. So people were coming on and they were telling me, have you had Paul on? Because they kind of grew up with him.
Yeah.
But he's one of those guys that you grew up with, but he just blew up to the point where he's just so successful.
Yes.
And everybody's looking at him like
untouchable.
Am I still your friend? Can I still reach out? Because you've you've gone, Claire. Yes. So he was like that. And so, but people kept coming on my show. I have 3 or 4 people come on the show. And obviously when the first person mentioned him, I had no idea. When the second person mentioned him, now the name is ringing a bell. By the time the third person and the fourth person mentioned him, I was like, okay, this guy is obviously someone important. So I looked him up. I think the last person that came on the show is one of his editors.
Wow.
But his editors came on my show as a musician. Like I said, I've been doing music for so long, so I have a lot of friends in the music industry now. So as we were talking, he said, thank you for having me on the show. I really enjoyed this. You should have my boss on. I said, who's your boss? He said, Paul from Heavy Spoilers. I said, yeah, I've been hearing his name. I said, so he said, so as an editor, I'll talk to him and I'll tell him to come and do your show. I said, no problem. So, and so he did that, but it took a year to get Paul on the show because Paul is very busy. He's traveling, he's doing a lot. So when I reached out to Paul, I actually told Paul, is it okay for your editor to come on the show as well? But he's going to sit behind the scenes and I'm going to mic him up so that we can have a 3-way conversation. Just to kind of like thank him for being the plug and to kind of have a more organic conversation. And as the conversation was going on, I just remember thinking, this is not a podcast for me. This is a learning moment.
Yes.
I don't care about the cameras and teach me.
Yes.
Help me. I want to do well in life.
Yes.
You're clearly very successful. I was like, listen, look at this channel. What would you change? And he just went. And he looked at me like, are you sure? I was like, yeah. And he told me, and honestly and truly, he told me about 3 or 4 things that I changed that week.
Yes. And
I changed them that week, including like just certain things about how things look. And, you know, one thing that I appreciated about Paul was he kept messaging me, Daps, well done, Daps, well done. Wow. He didn't have to, but he just kept messaging me that week saying, I've seen that you've made this change.
Yes.
Well done. And that obviously for me as a learner, imagine him being the mentor, I'm the mentee. It meant a lot to me that he was able to give me constructive feedback.
Yes, really, because he was quite open about it, like critiqued it and, you know, told you, oh, do this here. I really found the openness interesting. And I, you know, went in not expecting to get some tips. I'm like, what are the odds that I come to this particular podcast that I've never seen this type of guest before? I'm trying to start my podcast and they're having this conversation.
Yep.
I better just learn as well. So you made that podcast for you and I, Daps, just
amazing.
for you to know.
That's amazing. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
I really did enjoy it for sure, and I'm not even kidding. So was there a specific sorry, apologies.
Yep.
What did he say that hit hardest?
Something to do with views. I think either he said views are a vanity metric, or I think maybe he might have said subscribers are a vanity metric. Anyways, his point was that we shouldn't concentrate too much on. Maybe he said subscribers are a vanity metric. I might be getting it wrong, but if he said subscribers are a vanity metric, something to that extent, which basically is trying to say that you shouldn't focus too much on the amount of people that are coming to your channel as much as you should focus on the amount of views you're getting. So it may have been that subscribers are a vanity metric, and that makes a lot of sense because at the end of the day, if you have 100,000 subscribers on your YouTube channel and 100,000 of them are not watching, it makes no difference that they're there. Whereas if you have 10,000 subscribers and they're watching and the algorithm is pushing your content out and even 100,000 people are watching, that 10,000 it actually makes more sense. So I think when he said that, that really hit home, like damn, sometimes we focus too much on getting so many people to come to the channel in terms of like subscribers. But what we actually need is to have content that's so good. And I don't like using that word content, by the way. I don't really like content as a word. I prefer to say your creation, your videos, But anyways, I know it's thrown around a lot, that content word. But is that what you're creating on YouTube has to be so good that when people watch it, they want to stay. You know what I'm trying to say? So I think just the way he said it, I think he said views are a vanity metric. I can't remember. But yeah, that hit home.
Yeah. I think the one that hit home for me in the conversation was where he said, you don't really need to do ads.
Yes.
Like it's not really.
Yeah.
It's not a guarantee that it will move your platform forward. That's what I got from that, and I found it really interesting because prior to that, I used to think, oh, maybe just push with a few ads. But I've also noticed, like on other platforms, on the back of what he said, it doesn't really guarantee that your content is going to go far when you pay for those ads. In fact, sometimes once there's that quick boost, that's the end. You just see that lots of people might have clicked in, but you don't get those likes and comments that are organic.
So you're right in that what he said, when he said he's done it in the past, but he finds that it's not necessarily the best way to go because the engagement lacks. So there's a lack of engagement. What I've learned, because what I did was after that episode, I took a lot of the things that he said on board, but then I went on to do my own research as well. And I found that, okay, it's not that you can't run ads, it's that you have to be strategic about the ads you're running. So I'll give you a perfect example. So your podcast comes out now, it's 35, let's say 40 minutes long, right? Putting a YouTube ad on a 40 minutes long video is a bad idea because really and truly, it's too long of a video to promote. People are not really going to click on it. What they're more likely to click on social media and on YouTube Shorts is your short form content. So taking this conversation, taking 45 seconds from it and then clipping that and then pushing that in front of people, because what you're doing there is you're attention farming. You're looking for as many people's attention as possible. So that video naturally, even without promotion or advertisement, that video is probably already going to do well. It's already probably destined to do 1,000 views by virtue of the fact that people are actually going to watch this, because it's short. But then when you notice that it's on like 1,000 views, maybe in an hour, that's a way for you to see that maybe that could do 10,000. So now if you were to promote that video and it gets to 100,000 views, you've done well, because not only now is it being seen, people are engaging with it. And what do you think a lot of those people are going to do? They're going to go, let me go find out more about this Viv. And then those people are going to finally go to your page. They're going to watch this full episode, not all of them, but some of them. And then some of them will subscribe. So I've learned that you can put ads on your content if you want, but just be strategic about what you're putting ads on. Because let's be real, some of the biggest channels in the world, some of the biggest podcasters, they're doing the exact same thing. Some of them do it. So in Paul's sort of like world, it will make no sense for him to put an ad on a video because majority of his content is long form. So he can't put an ad on long form video because it will kill his algorithm. But we depend on short form to grow our channels. Like people need to watch your video on TikTok and Instagram first before they
want to
go
see
to
the
YouTube.
full conversation. Yes.
But Paul started at the time when his channel where he did one video and he did like 1 million views on YouTube. He doesn't now need social media. Not really, because
Not really.
it doesn't
Yeah.
need discoverability.
Yes,
It's
yes.
on YouTube. They're paying him
I
more
see the
money on
logic.
YouTube.
Yeah.
You see the logic?
Yes, I get that.
Yeah. So that's what I think. That's what I'm trying to teach more, and what I want people to understand more is just understanding why you do what you do, because people will tell you a lot of things, and a lot of the times they'll be right. Not necessarily wrong. It'll be right, but it might not be right for you.
For you, yes. That's
Yeah.
correct, and I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Did you implement his feed? Oh, I don't need to ask you that. So I was going to say, like, how did that turn out for you with implementing his feedback, and
Very well.
What changed? I saw a lot of views on that post, but I'm not on the back end seeing the
Yeah.
analytics. So please share.
Very well. The episode we did together was my most viewed long form episode, like just organically. One thing that it was good because Paul was very generous. He allowed us to collaborate with his own channel. And that's good because his channel has got like 1.6 million subscribers. So that helps. It wasn't the first time that I've collaborated with another YouTube channel, but it was the first time where it was impactful. Because the first time I collaborated with someone, it was actually a really popular Afrobeat artist. And I thought that episode was going to do crazy numbers. But it actually just turns out that their YouTube channel is actually dead. Even more dead than mine. Not saying mine is dead. At least mine is a bit active, but their YouTube is just doing not because this is how you know. If I already know I'm going to get like say 300 to 500 views on long form, which is already hard, or even 1,000, let's just say, I'm hoping that with the fact that you have way more followers, we should maybe double that to 2,000-3,000.
Exactly, yeah.
If we're only getting 300 views, again, look, don't worry. There's nothing wrong with 300 views. If you're getting 300 views with someone who's bigger, with your influence, that means that your channel. You know, I'm doing all the work basically.
Yes.
As far as YouTube
carrying you both on your back.
As far as YouTube is concerned, because this is one thing I always say for content creators. All this Instagram and TikTok doesn't matter. YouTube is where we need to be. YouTube pays the most. Long form pays the most. Everybody's talking about short form. Short form is great for attention, but think about advertisers that want to pay you. If the video is 30 minutes long, there's room for 4 advertisements. That's a lot of money. If the video is 1 minute long, where are they going to put the ads? So we really need to focus on our YouTube game seriously.
I think YouTube also needs to make it easy. Although I figured out that there are ways to do that using other platforms. I was going to say they need to make it easy to post things on there as well, because there's so many things to consider: the cover art, the size, the captions, the description, the right tags, so that people can search you and find you. But with Instagram, I just know what maybe because I'm more conversant with the platform, but it doesn't need me to do too much for me to post something. I think that is one area that if YouTube could just work on, because although there are other platforms, like I did say, for podcasters, for instance, where you upload your stuff and it just sends it to the platforms that you need. But coming on, if you wanted to post on YouTube by itself on your own, you have to be sure of the device you're using.
Yeah, the best way that Paul explains it is the best way that Paul explained it when he's in his early days. And I love that we're talking about Paul a lot in this episode. And for those that are going to watch this, it's going to be great for you to, once you're done watching this, go watch my episode with Paul. It's on YouTube as well. Chilling with Daps. The thing that he said was that when he started, he realized very quickly that he had to be a videographer, he had to become an editor, he had to become a graphics designer. Those are 3 different jobs.
Yes.
Right? If you want to even say a script writer, because all that description, writing the right title, you know, isn't that what newspaper does? To be able to write titles that are very captivating. So that's 4 jobs. Some people go to university just to study one.
It's a skill in itself to be able to write something that people can quickly pick up on.
Some people go study this in 4 different degrees sometimes, if you consider it, you know. So it's no easy fit. And for people like us that are doing it, like, stay encouraged, because it's not that you're doing it wrong. It's just you have a lot to learn. Just keep learning it and keep going.
How do you stay humble?
Yeah,
especially with sitting down with Heavy Spoil. I know he's a big guy in the game, but you're a big guy in the game to me. I don't know if you know Fino, the rapper. You should know Fino.
Yes.
Fino, I was watching, I saw a clip where someone asked Fino, like, what do you think about the big 3? The big 3. He's
David
like,
Burna Boy Wizkid.
Yeah, so, and he's like, I'm all 3 to somebody.
Wow.
Like, I don't know, like, he didn't want to go into that because, of course, that's a controversial conversation for him. But he did say that to somebody else, I am all big three.
I'm the
All
big
the
one.
threes. I'm just the one for that person. So I don't know what you're saying about the big three.
Yeah.
So in the same vein, you're big to me.
Thank
the
you.
Same way like you were looking at heavy
you.
spoilers at
Thank you very
Paul.
much.
So you being that humble, bringing yourself down, how do you stay that way, even with all the recognitions that you have? And I do know that there are levels to this, but in this Northeast, the first time I spoke about being a podcaster, the person was like, oh, like Daps. Like, oh, who is Daps? I'm like, oh, I need to speak with them. And then at first I got the impression that, oh, it's going to be difficult to speak to him. You have to start first and show him, like, you need to. But I met you at Creators Mix because I'd already stalked you before that day, of course. And I just tapped your shoulder. You were sitting in front of me. I just tapped your shoulder. I was doing my corner. I said, say hi. You're like, hi. I'm like, this is going to be a good day.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
how do you stay humble, Dad?
I'll be real. Like, I just have to tell you how it is. My mom, even more so than my dad. So I'm just gonna say this is I'm giving all praise and glory to God, but I'm gonna thank my mom for this. So when she was, sort of like raising me, she always said, Dakpo, you have some gifts and you have some talents, but I fear that you might be proud. I fear that you might be proud, not saying that you're proud, but I fear that you're going to be in a position where so many people come to you and you will then be proud. So I want to raise you to be a little bit more humble, right? So there are certain prayers that you have to pray just to keep yourself grounded and humble. So I'll never forget one of the prayers she taught me was always this prayer, and if your audience don't mind this, I am anointed, I'm creative, I'm talented, I'm successful, I have the favor of God. I am an overcomer, people like me, and I'm a victor, not a victim, in Jesus' name. That was one prayer, but the other prayer then was also a prayer of being humble. And so it was, God, please endow me with the spirit of humility and eliminate the spirit of pride. It was a simple prayer. So the first one was about kind of like, you are praying for your sort of like manifesting that you are going to be the best. So you have to first manifest you're going to be the best regardless of what people say. That's number one. But then the second prayer was, God, please eliminate the spirit of pride and endow me with the spirit of humility. I used to pray that every day. So in my head, it's almost as if I came out my house humble. I had to. So I've got to the point in my life now where I'm sitting in certain rooms. My friends have to remind me who I am sometimes. And they're like, Daps.
Can you arrange yourself?
Your Daps.
What's your problem?
And I'm like, oh, yeah. And I'm like, oh, yeah. It's crazy.
Oh, yeah. It's back in character.
Yeah. And one of my friends, I'll never forget my friend Michael. He said to me one time, he said, I don't want you to use your humility to hold you down. He said, your humility might be holding you down, I said, what do you mean? I said, I've never heard that before, that humility holds someone down. And he said, because you're who you are.
Overdone it.
Yeah, he didn't even say I've overdone it. He just said,
you've overdone it from trying not to be pompous.
Yeah.
Now you're not too humble.
He said you're who you are, bro. Like he said, we're going out places and people are coming to you, recognizing you. You're just so unbothered. And I was like, fair. And that was just my reaction. And I don't think I'll ever change. It's not something I can, because see, let's be real. I don't know if you want to say it's conditioning, but I just think that sometimes the way you're raised just informs who you are. And I've just learned that in life, it's okay to just be who you are. I love being like approachable. I love to be able to talk to everyone and anyone. If you see me with young people, like I could be talking to a 5-year-old. We'll have a fantastic conversation. I could be talking to an 85-year-old. We're going to have an amazing conversation. I think I've just been raised to treat everyone equally with respect, with love. And I also don't like kind of like being, it sounds crazy that I do a podcast. I don't like being the center of attention. Naturally, if I'm out.
Fooled me.
naturally, if I'm out, I want to stand in the back. I want to like, I saw a video of myself from 2 years ago on my girlfriend's phone. This is before we started dating, right? So she didn't know that before we met, I was in one of our videos on her phone. So we were at a party together and she's like, babe, I just saw a video of you on my phone. So you've been in my life before. I didn't even know.
Yeah.
You understand? But I said, what was I doing? I hope I was What was I doing? I hope I was in one girl. She said to me, you were in the corner Mind your business.
Minding your business.
I said, that sounds like me. I was like, thank God. That's so me. Honestly, that's just so me. I just couldn't be bothered. I just want to mind my business, do my own thing, chill. And no matter where God takes me in life, it doesn't matter. I don't care how much money. It's going to stay the same. I don't care, honestly. Just be you, man. Some people are different. Some people are, yo. I'm just like, all right, cool, man, chill.
You're just cool. You're just really chill, like chilling with Daps, like chill.
Yeah, man.
It's really cool. So you've always referenced chicks and gigs.
Oh, I love them.
I love them.
A lot of people don't,
Yeah,
it's hard a lot of people don't really like shits and gigs. Like I speak to... Yeah,
I know they had one issue at the time when there was something that they said wrong or something that people were trying to cancel them.
Don't mess about with black women is all I'm going to say.
Yes.
If your audience is predominantly black women, just make sure you just cater to them because they are...
connections.
Yeah, be careful.
Don't mess with us.
Yeah, but I love shit and gigs. Yeah, you were going to say?
Yes, I love them a lot. So, as an inspiration, you've always referenced them as an inspiration. I literally studied their studio setup on your podcast. So, what is it about studying the people ahead of you openly, in public, that you believe in?
I'm going to say something right now, and I think this could go viral on your podcast.